Hi, welcome to Jovie's home. I post new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Today, this video is a bonus, and it's going to be really important. I think it's going to be the most important information that I hope you never need to use in the Netherlands. And this video is about how to deal with medical emergencies and medical urgencies that arise, because the system here is a little bit different than what I've known in other countries, and you should know it too. So if that sounds good to you, then why don't you come on in, kick off your shoes, and stay a while. I'm really glad you're here. So recently, this weekend, yesterday, actually today is Sunday, yesterday was Saturday, we had a medical emergency with my son. And if you want to know about that, I'll save that for the end of the video. What I want to tell you at the very beginning is what you need to know. So in the Netherlands, there is a difference between having a medical urgency and a medical emergency. A medical emergency would be something life-threatening. So, heart attack, some kind of car accident, people bleeding out, people being non-responsive, things like that. That is a medical emergency. And in that case, you call the emergency number 112. And that's when you're going to get an ambulance sent to you or whatever, but that is going to be treated as a medical emergency. Medical urgencies are urgent medical issues that arise during non-business hours of your house doctor. So things that happen over the weekend or in the evenings, early mornings, things like that, that you might need to go and see a doctor on an urgent basis, but it's not a life-threatening emergency. This can be something like, you break an arm or you get an ear infection or something happens, like that, like something where you need medical treatment that day or like urgently, but it is not a life-threatening emergency. You're not going to die if it takes an hour to see a doctor, something like that. So the way that the medical system is set up in the Netherlands is as follows. During business hours, you have your house doctor, your Huisarts. And if something happens, you call that number and you get medical advice, and either they can tell you, okay, well, we're going to send an ambulance for you, or some, they will deal with it appropriately. And then when they're closed, so when your Huisarts is not available in the evenings or weekends, there is a number called, or for the Huisartsenpost. In The Hague, it also has a second name of SMASH. So what I would like to ask you to do right now is pause this video and in another tab, Google Huisartsenpost and the name of your city or town where you live. Get that phone number and program it into your phone right now. Do that and then come back to the video and we'll talk more. So once you have that in your phone, in case something happens, you don't need to be Googling in case of a panic moment. You know that it's there and it's saved. Save that as however you need to, but that's a great thing to do. So this number, which you use it for, is any kind of, as I was saying, non-emergency urgent medical treatment that you might need. So you're going to call them up. You will be speaking to what they call it, an artsassistent, or a doctor's assistant. They're going to ask you what is happening, what are your symptoms, and then they will advise you on, okay, this hospital that's near you is open, and we'll add you to the list. Go there, or they'll give you a time to go, or they'll tell you, you know what, this seems like something that can wait. If your symptoms don't improve in, 4 hours or whatever, call us back. So they're going to be able to give you appropriate medical advice in that moment. So whether that is, yes, come to the hospital and we will treat you, or stay home, this is not like a super emergency, you will understand what you need to do. This is different than you just driving yourself to the emergency room. That is not really looked upon well in the Netherlands unless you're having a real life-threatening emergency. So, if your kid has a fever and you drive yourself to the emergency room without having called the Huisartsenpost beforehand, that's not really looked at as super great. So I don't know, you can do it. Of course, you're going to be seen. It's not that you're not going to be seen, but that's just not like the Dutch way. That's not the way that the system is set up here to help people. So yeah, at least now you know. You have the 112 number for real and medical emergencies, and then you have the Huisartsenpost for triage services for medical urgencies outside of business hours. So that's what I would like you to know. Please, as I said, make sure you have that number programmed in your phone. It's not something that you want to be Googling in the middle of a medical urgency like what we had this weekend. So yeah, if you're a parent, I really hope, please don't click off yet. I know I've just given you all the information. You're probably like, okay, Jovie, I don't need to know about your life. But this is actually also another thing that I learned over the weekend that I think is very helpful, especially for parents of small children to know, so that you can stay more calm in the situation, certainly more calm than I did. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I've just come home from holidays. We were in Spain, and while we were in Spain, my son developed like a pretty high fever. So we ended up going to urgent care in Spain. He was seen by a doctor, and we were under the care of a doctor. Once we came home, we called our Huisarts, got some advice from him to just continue doing what we were doing, and that it was fine, and that was okay. Fine. So now I feel like I'm okay. My kid is okay. We're gonna, we just need to like let the virus run its course and he will be fine. Well, on Saturday morning, so yesterday morning, my son woke up and he didn't have a fever, and he hadn't had one in the previous night at 1 a.m. when we got up with him. So I thought, great, like he had his last fever at 1 a.m. Now it's 7 a.m. He doesn't have a fever. We're on the mend. We're getting better. Things are improving. As I was making breakfast in my kitchen, and he was just playing in the living room, suddenly I heard a sound like a thud, and I turned to see my son, on the floor, having a seizure. He was not responding to me. I, of course, ran over to him. I picked him up, or tried to cradle his head. He turned completely white. His lips were white, and then his lips turned blue. He sounded like he was choking. He couldn't breathe. And this continued for about 30 seconds. Now, if he hadn't come out of it after those 30 seconds, you should call 112, because that is a medical emergency. But my son did come around, and after about 30 seconds, color returned to his face, and he was able to communicate again and, talk, and the seizure passed. And he was able to speak to us again. So because that emergency thing of not being able to breathe and not being conscious, that passed, he was over it, but it was still a medical urgency where we wanted to go and see the doctor. I mean, of course, he had been standing and he fell on the floor, so he hit his head. All of these reasons, and a 4-year-old having a seizure is, of course, a reason to go and see the doctor on an urgent basis. We called the Huisartsenpost, or the Smash in the Netherlands, in The Hague. I'm sorry, it's called Smash in The Hague. Hey, Dan, can you put the number for Smash? This is only if you live in The Hague, okay? So if you live anywhere else, please do the Googling. So anyway, we called Smash. I spoke to the nurse who, she asked for more information. She asked what's happening, how did it happen, how does he look, is he responding? She was getting information over the phone. And then she said, okay, just a minute, I'm gonna go consult with the doctor. I was on hold for a little bit. She came back and she said, yes, the doctor thinks we should see you soon. And I said, okay, well, we have a baby at home. Can we just do we have an hour or two to arrange a babysitter? And she said, no, the doctor wants to see you as soon as possible. Come now. So sometimes they do give you an appointment time, they can say, okay, come at 10 a.m. to the hospital. Other times, in this case, they said, no, come right away. So that's what we did. We just got dressed, and we all of us, my husband, my daughter, my son, and I, we just piled in the car and we drove to the hospital that they told us to go to. My son was seen. He was examined by a doctor. She gave us some medication. He needed antibiotics after all this time. He's fine now. He's fine now. Okay, he's fine. But in that moment, that was so scary. And I was so glad that I had the number for Smash programmed in my phone so I could just call them. And even though I was panicking and freaking out, I didn't have to do more steps to, find out how to treat him or what to do. What had happened? Why did he have this seizure? And this is why I hope that if you're a parent to young children that you are watching this so that you know that this is something that can happen sometimes. Basically, he had not had a fever and then it was suddenly going up really quickly, really fast. And apparently that can lead for the brain to have kind of like a momentary freeze, and then children can have seizures from that. So not just when their fever is going up and growing, but when it's like a super quick growth of the fever, that can happen and it's scary. Luckily he was fine. The seizure was short term and it was just the one. But that's it. So if you're a parent and you have little kids and that happens to you, and I hope it never does, I hope you never go through that. But at least that, this can happen. So if your child has been sick or has a fever or something and this happens, it can happen. And just try to stay calm, try to, be there for your child, to cradle them, to cuddle them, to be there, while they're having their seizure. And then call the urgent care number. Obviously, if the seizure is lasting for longer and your child can't breathe, call emergency and have the ambulance come and help you out. So that's it, you guys. That's this video today. I really, wanted to make this bonus video this week because it's so important that you guys know that you know how the system works in the Netherlands, because it is a little bit different than in other countries. Overall, I think it works well. So people who are really in a life-threatening situation have one number, and people who are in an urgent situation kind of have another. And yeah, so that's it. You guys, I hope this video was helpful. Please, well, I don't know what to ask. You guys can tell me your stories about calling Huisartsenpost or emergency. I hope that everyone turned out okay. Everyone is, that everyone's issues were resolved in a timely manner. Please give this video a thumbs up. Can we see if we can get this video again seen on tons of screens across the Netherlands? Your thumbs up and leaving comments below definitely helps that. I think this is something that everyone should know in the Netherlands. Not everyone does, so please, let's help people out. And thumbs up, leave a comment, whatever you want to comment, and that will help YouTube to recommend this video more to people and share this information. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for coming over today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm gonna go be with my kids now. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.